so fucking big.
Yo. I guys doing this fine evening. Welcome to HeyWoah After Dark. Now taking questions. 1-800-420-6900 gets you on the line. Operators are standing by. Backside of the TV, redeemed Switch hats. I will. Thanks for the bits, Oratorius. A late night, big bone boys. True. We got news. And technically, it's still today. Although calling it day 8, I had to put some quotations around that. It is 10. By me. Question, why is everything happening so much? Well, if you take...
Wait a minute, how big it is? Oh, okay.
Oh. Okay. Anyway, thanks for the bits, Jacoby. Question, why is everything happening so much? Well, if you take a look at history month by month, you know, zoom into the ground floor of 1993, 1995, you know, 1920, 1856, whatever it is, things are always happening so much. You just lose touch with them when they aren't happening right now. So anyway, you're living in very special times. But all times are very special times. That phone number is real, by the way. It's for a massage parlor in Ontario. True, but if you call it from the 1/ number, it's a phone sex line. As we learned on stream that one time. I thought it was just a funny thing, but of course it would be a real number. Late night stream for the Ozark bed sleepers, yeah. The fuck time it is, yeah. So 10:07 by my watch, but then again, time zones are a thing. Having a buldak carbonara with some mozzarella and bologna. Living big, king. Sounds delish. Recently deceased? Soul jammed into a crowded construct. You may be entitled to unclaimed bones. Is your casket lined with asbestos? Do you have mesothelioma? You might be entitled to a class action suit. Yeah, pretty big meal. You've been living in history for like 20 years? I'm tired, boss. Hey. Don't worry about it. Was that convincing? I don't know. Anyway, a switch hats was asked, and I will do it. You know, it really put it into perspective when I did my 1993 video. And I brought myself back to that time, and I'm like, damn. Things have been happening constantly. This whole time. It's just kind of whether or not you're alive during them and aware of them. Putting together some plague bearers tonight for Neugel tonight. Oh, you playing a game tonight? Arrested at Waffle House? Who you playing against? Nurgle versus Whomst. You mean Mr. Woe in chat? Jim Rendo, my favorite Star Wars character. No one just building them? Oh, okay. I noticed the double tonight in your sentence, and I thought maybe you were playing against someone. Tomorrow, Nurgle versus Iron Jaws. 15 hundo. Nice. Should be a fun one. And neither of you have gotten your preview yet, so nobody is going to be unfairly having extra rules or anything like that. Gameception going into SOG. For OBR, you wanted. Infantry buffs, more recursion, better artifacts, more tech guard without the anti-synergies, better stalkers. Am I happy? Well, see, I guess. No spoiler. Yeah, I haven't looked at it. What was I...
Good job, King.
What was I hoping for? OBR, to me, are one of the armies that need, like, go back to the drawing board kind of thing. Or entirely go back to their roots. But they can't do that. You know, that's not feasible at this moment. And so I thought, Blendermen, new War Scroll. At least give them damage 2, Jesus Christ. And probably more tech guard. Those are the 2 War Scrolls I would rewrite. Hat Tip Catacross, I would like him to get a new War Scroll as well, but he's 3rd place. Put all the flavor back in him. And those are my hopes. Tonight you assembled Vampire Grandma and Chadukar the Based. Nice. Mike Scarborough, thanks for the tier 1, 37. The time never stops. Please help. I'm so fucking old. Well, at least you can take comfort in always knowing the direction. It's not confusing. It's not going to surprise you. It is marching ever onward in the same direction. I don't like it much either. For what it's worth. But, I hit the 2-year mark after Diablo 4 review, so that's pretty nice. Big wins there. Dumb question, have you watched Andor? I have not, no. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I steer clear of Star Wars media. Now, I was once a fan, but it all seems kind of crap to me, and so I don't even feel like sifting through the sand looking for the nuggets of gold like an old prospector, which is, some people say Andor is good, some people say Mandalorian was good. I don't know. I'm not like searching for it. Plus I'd have to sign up to something that I don't have a sign up for. Although really I would sail the seas, let's be honest. It's Disney, fuck 'em. Any other big questions for the question line? I might as well open the phones. One question line. Have you ever watched Mothlight? No. What is it? Short experimental film, 1963. By whomst? Sam Brakhage. Film was created without the use of a camera. Oh, fascinating. Collage film incorporates real-world elements. Produced the film without the use of a camera, using what he then described as a whole new film technique. Collected moth wings, flower petals, blades of grass. Pressed them between 2 strips of 16mm spliced tape. Resulting assemblage was then contact printed at a lab to allow projection at a cinema. Objects chosen are required to be thin and translucent to permit the passage of light. He reused the technique to produce his later film, The Garden of Earthly Delights. Mothlight has been described as boasting a 3-part musical structure. How nice. No, I hadn't seen it, but I'm glad it was made. What a fun exercise that must have been. Have you / will you play Claire Obscure Expedition 33? You know, the more I wait, the more I think I might actually play that game. Even though it's French, it looks good. To be honest, it looks like a non-anime, non-Japanese Persona 5 kind of experience. Where it's all super stylish menus and a bunch of good interactions between characters and stuff. I don't know if there's dating simulator, and it probably isn't. I'm just saying it seems they have a flair for graphic design is my passion, except in a good way. It looks like fun. I will say that the facial motion capturing and lip syncing is distractingly bad, but I heard the team didn't have any money, and so I will forgive them easily. Anyway, yeah, I'm probably gonna play that game. I'm not in a rush to play it, but man, if I'm gonna stream every day, yeah, I'm thinking about playing it. Good question. New Helldivers update, P good fam, nice. French do make the most annoying fantasy content. Hey, I liked Whack Fu. One question, when will my dad be home with the milk? Good meme. Been fan of factions with asses hanging out, Nurgle, Bone Splitters, FEC, sure. Rogue One was actually the only good Star Wars. Disagree. It had a really, really cool 1 minute long scene that played like a fan movie, to be honest, but in a fan service sort of way, you know? Like it was cool and fun with Vader there. The movie itself, though, watching it, I couldn't help but see all the reshoots and rewrites and things added and subtracted in editing. Story was a mess. Every character was miserable and unlikable. Found myself rooting for the bad guys, such as my distaste for all of the main cast. I'm like, oh, cool. Star Wars movies can be depressing and empty, just like normal movies now. Great. I don't know. Didn't like it. You liked how they all got glassed at the end? Them all dying at the end was a good part, yeah, because I didn't like them. Korn might be the army for you. Korn's gifts are world-renowned. You love QTE turn-based Legend of Dragoon. It's your favorite. Any chance of more faction focuses in the future? Yeah. I was going to start them back up, but then I really didn't care much for this edition, to be perfectly honest, and I don't want to, like, make propaganda to sell people on something that I'm not really feeling. And so that's why there haven't been any for a while. But this GHB is really cool, and it's a great sign of things really improving meaningfully moving forward. And since I'm in charge of how much I work, because I pick up contracts, right, all the time, I can lessen that and shift over to YouTube a little more, and it doesn't affect my quality of life, because I live simply in a tiny wizard tower, and I don't really spend a lot of money. Just put it in CDs. Yeah, apologies VOD people, I haven't been feeding SJ Arcade many VODs to do, except for every single news, which is could technically be a VOD. You know, just cut out the walk at the beginning and then straight to the coverage. True, you know, I've given you 8. I've given you 8 of them, including this one. I know that's not exactly what you meant, but... Why is airbrushing so hard? It's awkward. You gotta get used to it. Awesome to hear that things are looking up, because you definitely felt like there was no positive news coming out for AoS for a good while. Yes, it felt like that for me too. Oh, blame Bald Girls Gate 3, huh? Okay. Well, I'm not gonna crack the whip. Do what you want. Pulling up the news over here. Ozark Boner Eepers, huh? Who just called my phone? I suppose I'm usually not. Well, no, I'm kind of streaming sometimes here. All right. I can't answer that. I'm simply unreachable. Sometimes it's a healthy thing to do, and I recommend it every once in a while. To become simply unreachable. You know, make your boundaries. I am overdue on an Every Army video. That would come before any faction focuses for sure. Backside of the TV. And it's long since time. Everybody who recommends that thing to new people is like, in their little message, they're like, well, it's a little dated. It's pretty old now, but it kind of holds. You don't want that, right? Out with the old, in with the new. I just needed to believe in what I was saying in the giant propaganda video that it is, you know. I find it hard to sell something I don't believe in. Or I'm not feeling right now, or whatever, what have you, right? Unless I'm directly paid to, then it's simply, you know, a job, right? But that's different. Also, fair enough, not doing stuff on an edition you don't feel is worth pushing. Yeah. Keep being awesome. I'll try. That's you. Disappear into the ether. No phones, no IM, no problem. Sometimes it's healthy to just become unreachable. Outside world's always trying to get in. Doesn't mean disappear forever or whatever. Just have some boundaries and respect for your time and attention. That's it. Realize that you have more control over your situation than it may appear. Anyway, nice rainy day. I don't think this is going to be a terrifically long stream. It might just be news and walking, if that's alright. Yeah, real hermit hours. From a real hermit. It's me. Said the AoS probably has the best introductory experience it's ever had, thanks to Spearhead only for the game you're introducing people to be the least exciting it's ever been. Right, but I can't think of a silver lining. Wait, no. There's an obvious silver lining here. They're slowly but surely, in the way that they are able to within their company, putting the flavor back in 2 pages at a time for the next GHB. And I expect that they'll do that for the next GHB as well. And then they'll have done all that, and they can fold them into the battle tomes and take what they've learned for 5th edition. You don't have to, like, you did Spearhead, right? And so you used to basically not have an introductory way to play the game, and now you just do. And so when they're making 5th edition, they'll have that skeleton all built, right? And they went through all the war scrolls and simplified them enough so that they could easily balance the game because everything only has one ability, and on and on and on. And now they've done that, and now we're in the build upon it phase. And so I imagine that 5th edition is going to be a lot like 2nd, where they just shovel extra crap onto it, which ends up being fun. Maybe a bit busy, but fun and flavorful. So, that problem will solve itself, probably. From your words to their ears, I'm sure they were hearing about it from other people than me. And look at this. This used to be what GHBs were for, and we're kind of going back to it. Wonderful. It seemed like Cruel Boys were more positive, or at least the commenters and stuff were more positive on it than I thought. Which just goes to show the children yearn for flavor, even if it's not great. They just want to try stuff. If they wanted to play a good army, they would have not chosen Cruel Boys, ever. And so, give the people what they want. They want wacky stuff. That might not work, but it's funny when it does. Alright, lean in. As long as the ground floor is playable, you know. Greenskins in a nutshell. I'm kind of looking forward to the OGA changes. We tried the new Cruel Boy stuff today, and it might not be super good all the time, but fun. Yeah, that was my take on it. I'm like, I don't think this is good exactly, but it's funny. And actually, some of it is good. Like the monster traits are just pure power, right? If you're playing at least one monster already, then your army is undeniably more powerful than it used to be. Maybe not enough or whatever, but you know, you got monster traits for literal free, right? So you did get a power boost one way or another. New Crocodile is very slow accumulating his funny token, and then he dies. I thought he was really good, and then somebody pointed out that it was limit 1 per turn, and that's when I knew it was no longer, it's not, yeah. And it's like, oh, limit 1 per turn? Okay, he's not good. Damn, I thought we were about to have some real fun, where you could just acquire it as many times as you wanted to. But still, he can lead up to one big play during a turn, probably. It's later than you might think. The dog managed to snatch and drag away the Ogre Tyrant. Oh, it worked? It did it? And then it did 0 damage, which is what I would expect, because the dog isn't exactly a massive damage dealer. It has the potential for it if you get very lucky, but still, it's funny. It's like a dog. It grabbed a little chew toy and ran away with it. And then it kind of like coughed up on your rug and looked at you all sad. But aside from that, it did half of the thing. That's cool. Ahem. It's interesting you mentioned the Tyrant, because he's one of the dudes that I would write a new War Scroll for. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. If I'm hoping for anything in the Ogre update for the GHB, I hope it is 1, Lead Belchers, and 2, Tyrant. They have the chance to do the funniest thing with Lead Belchers. Make them a ranged unit that acts like they're holding cannons, is what they are. And then for the second one, figure Tyrant. Make him fun. And then like monster stuff, right? Because 2 factions so far have gotten monster stuff. I would imagine that Beast Claw gets them too. As for the special rules, who knows? There's a bunch they could do. Plus when they hit monster trait on Troll Clubs just works. Oh yeah, Master Blaster. That guy. He's kind of funny with a +1 to hit. He's got that, what, damage himself, get bonus attacks thing too. Thermalate, the final arc of Andor came out. Genuinely the best show, not just Star Wars, but in general.
Good job, King.
Well, that's not true. The best TV show ever was the first 7 seasons of The Simpsons. But I'm willing to believe that it's the best Star Wars show for sure. Did you miss anything? No, we're just talking before the news. Brutal Burrito, thanks for the brutal and the burrito for the Big 12. The Storm Chad. Up to 10 attacks, -2, damn 3, big. Best show you've seen in ages. Okay, there we go. I might get to it. I mean, it's HeyWoah After Dark, but it's not a true HeyWoah After Dark. We're not playing a game until 2 a.m. or anything like that. Although I suppose we could. We could one of these days. Not Tuesday. Not Tuesday. Not Tuesday in it. Maybe it's Wednesday, my dudes. Tomorrow does Slow Dude come out? Dude the Dank Agnes? Or is it Thursday? I suppose I could buy the early premium play it early thing, but I don't want to reward anyone for doing that if I can help it. Even Doom. Doom Duke them. I'll have to use new sub-allegiance for +1 attack for a unit, so my Gut Ripper's rolled over 40 attacks. And I've scored only 1 crit. Yeah, the expectation is when you get 6 attacks, you can expect 0 or 1 crit. If you get 12 attacks, you can expect like 1. It's best to round down in your head, in my experience. Just to soften the expectations. I don't play a crit fishing army, but if I did, I'd probably suck at it. Yeah, round to 0. Alright, 10:30. Dude, it's time. It's time for the... news. Poof. Scourgigai Ran, skeletal debd collectors, come a-knockin'. Have you come to pay the bone tithe? You have. Good. Good. It won't cost an arm and a leg. Just our little joke. Why are you crying? It's not worth losing your head over. Unless you want to, of course. That can be arranged. Alex the Soul Mason will explain all the details. He has a chair made of people, you know. Huh? Well, okay. Hey, I'll click the thing. How about?
The settlers' first mistake was thinking they had any choice in the matter.
Any choice in the matter?
The creatures came at dusk under the bowers of Verdian oaks, the trees withering at their approach. A slow, meticulous march brought the creatures to the outpost in the swathe, where one in a priestly garb delivered a parchment edict. Bone men, the settlers called them, but they were as far from skeletons as a common man is from an ogre. Ranks of the bone men stood in silence before the stockade. More was needed for the tithe, they claimed. But the settlers had raided their graves already, and the marshal could offer no more. That's when the settlers made their second mistake. A fusel platoon was hidden in the trees and let fly. The bone men snapped and splintered in the storm, but when the dust settled, they got up again. Green tendrils coiled around broken parts, conducted by their priest, remaking what was broken. Life drained from one fusilier, the soldier falling dead just as one of the skeletal things stood back up. The second volley barely scratched them, iron shots skidding off hardened bone and raised shields. Even a cannon would have struggled to fell them, if the settlers had one. They should have bent the knee. Instead, they bared their necks.
the Bone Men. As you would expect from a military-minded Mortek, today's installment includes 2 new battle formations with which to do battle in the realm of life. Inflict misery on the living, and then turn them into bone constructs when they don't pay their tithes. The Hekatos Drillmaster's formation is entirely suited to this task, as it enables you to upgrade an infantry unit to be faster, stabbier, harder to kill. Like some Steven Seagal movie. Meanwhile, the Tithe Guards formation makes use of all the spare bone lying around the battlefield, putting it to good use repairing the Legion. Continuing the theme of deadly reanimation and rejuvenation, the Mortesians have learnt a new spell lore, the lore of Necrothergy. All 3 spells are super easy to cast, 5 up, and revolve around ignoring incoming damage, bolster creation, empowering your units with extra attacks, invigorate the ranks, and inflicting damage on the enemy before using their shattered bone parts to rebuild your own warriors. Soul Claim. All 3 work perfectly with the new battle formations and war scrolls, which are the Mortesian Bone Shaper and the Mortak Guard. Well, we got Mortak Guard at least, that's a good one. And the Bone Shaper. Bone Shaper has taken its job title to heart by finding new ways to shape bones. It can do this in 2 ways, by granting bonuses to units when they rally, and by summoning replacement units when others have perished. Meanwhile, this version of the Mortek Guard now has the Shields of the Legion rule, which allows them to protect nearby Mortek Crawlers, Gothazar Harvesters, and Mortesians, bolster them with one of the new formations, spells, or both, and use them to keep your other units safe from harm. Nagash will be most pleased. Get shaped, idiot. Alright, we'll take a look at that in a second. Mortek Guard 120 for 10. Bone Shaper 120 for 1. And he can have 1 Harvester any infantry. But what about what's next? There's a distinct red tint in the air ahead of tomorrow's article. That means corn, in which we'll be taking a look at some of the new terrain rules from the General's Handbook. Oh, corn, you say? Half of my mod team will be very pleased. Enhance. Tithe Guards. Okay, these are battle formations, which are sub-factions. Plentiful Bone. Pick a friendly, non-unique Oziark Bone Reaper's Wizard. To use this ability, then pick up to 3 visible, friendly, non-fly Oziark Bone Reapers. They have to be nerds. They cannot be fly. Wholly within 12 of that wizard to be the targets. Once per turn, army your hero phase. Roll a d3 for each target on a 2-up. Oh no, the return of the dreaded 2-up on a d3. If the target is damaged, heal X. If the target is not damaged, return slain. Okay? Your hero phase, you get basically exactly what Soulblight's battle trait is. Right? You get the Soulblight thing. Your hero phase only. Kind of weak, but I guess since your armor is good, they expect the healing to be relatively stronger. Hekatos Drillmasters. Once per turn, army your hero phase again. Disciplined Hekatoi. Oh, that reminds me, I gotta put new fish food in my Hekatoi pond. Pick a friend, non-hero, non-fly. Again, no flying allowed, okay. Infantry to be the target. Pick one of the following effects to apply. So just anywhere. Pick 1 infantry anywhere on the table, and it applies until the start of your next turn. Ward 5, 1 the charge rolls, 1 the wound rolls, or anti-charge rend. That's good. I know it's only 1 unit, but pick the most important unit. It lasts for 2 turns, possibly 3, or possibly only 1, depending, but it's until your next turn. 5 ward is great. +1 to some random rolls, sure. You don't have to roll for it. I don't know what you're choosing between, if it's better than one you're already using or not, but really kind of asking you to be a tactician, right? Target priority except from your opponent's point of view, and then give it to them. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It just works. Spell lore. Lore of Necrothurgy. What flies in OBR? The winged bone construct guys that used to be in Soulblight with the halberds and stuff, those two guys. I can't remember what they're called. Morghasts. That's it, yeah. They just really didn't want you to choose Morghasts with it. Because they're fast. You like Drill Masters a lot. Effectively lets a unit benefit from relentless discipline without a hero nearby. Yeah. Bring back the independence flavor, which used to be their entire thing, and now they like 180'd that, which I didn't like about the OBR changes. It used to be they invented not needing heroes next to them, and now they're completely heroes have to be next to you, so that was annoying. Or double up if they're in range, yeah. Still encouraging military formations. All these are 5s. Bolster creation. Pick a friendly Ozark Bone Reaper's wizard that casts a spell. Friendly visible Ozark Bone Reaper's unit holding within 12 to make target until the start of your next turn. Ignore the first damage point allocated to the target each phase. Trash. Unlimited trash. I will say that you underestimate how good this is in normal play, but it is definitely still trash. Holy. Invigorate the ranks. Invigorate the ranks. Friendly wizard. Invisible Bone Reapers, holy 12. Add 1 tax characteristic target's melee weapons till the start of your next turn. Great. That's just great. And it casts on a 5. All right, invigorate the ranks. Am I missing some horrible downside to this? It just seems like a great spell. I guess the downside is it's part of a spell lore. But, hey, +1 attacks is awesome. You love to see it. Yeah, we need a switcheroo of that unlimited tag, please. Soul Claim for the 5. Friendly OBR Wizard, pick an invisible enemy within 18. Tend not to like those too much. The range feels a little short. Then you can pick a visible friendly OBR unit wholly within 12 of that wizard. Oh, so this is a siphon and heal. Inflict D3 mortal damage. And then if any models are slain, heal 3 or return a number slain equal to, okay. Unfortunately, it has to slay them. I suppose that makes thematic sense, because you have to take their bones, right? You will sometimes find uses for this spell, even though D3 is whatever. You always heal 3 regardless of what you roll. That's kind of neat. Or return 3. But really, it's about invigorate the ranks. This shit is sick. What's the offensive spell for the other... spell lore? What are you fighting against? Like, what's that one's offensive one? Is that the 5-up instead of 6-up for the extra hit? Crit 5 unlimited. -1 to hit, -1 armor save. Only within 12, just 12. Great if there's chaff, useless if there's not, it's whatevs. The Soul Claim one, yeah. So the real choice is, do you want 5-up extra hits instead of 6-up extra hits as an unlimited spell, or do you want +1 attacks, but not unlimited? And that's kind of the choice. And the third one is a Horde Breaker on a 5-up. Okay. Am I checking the tapes? I might as well. It's not a long show. I gotta pad the time. Checking the tapes. I'll bring it up. Oh yeah, the DMCA, the song. Dum ba bum ba bum bum. Bee. Alright, hold up. Riffs. AoS books. OBR. Do. Check the tape song. Beam ba beam. Alright. Spell lore of Ozian sorcery. Empowered NAD weapons. 5. Unlimited. Crit on a 5 instead of 6. It doubles your frequency of crits. I would take +1 attacks over this particular text 7,000 times out of 7,000. Like, I would just always choose +1 attacks, I think. Unless the creature only had 1 attack profile, and it was a singular creature. But this one's unlimited, and the attacks one is not unlimited, so big diff there. Drain Vitality. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for a target's attacks, and subtract 1 from save rolls for the target. Oh, that's amazing. This spell is really good. I forgot about this spell. This spell is really good. And then Shart Storm, which is a 5-up Horde Breaker, trash, and hard to cast. No, I think, damn. I think you actually keep your spell lore. 12-inch range is crazy short range, for sure. But this text is so fucking strong that my brain starts to shut off. Even though 12 is just like nutso close range. It's too close. It's so too close. But if they punch into your lines and don't kill them, you cast this spell and that unit never does anything for the rest of the game. It just, its arms become noodles and then it just dies. The fact that this one's unlimited, even though it's worse, I guess it is more of a toss-up than I was giving it credit for. Now that I see this 12 inches here, but I still think maybe the edge goes to the original. Which is a little unfortunate. Because this unlimited spell is so fucking bad. And then Soul Claim is not anything. It's really just +1 attack spell. This is like the cousin to Carnal Feast in FEC. Anyway, weak and copied homework, am I right? Good. I kind of like this one. I rather like this one. Nice Drill Master. Spell lore. They managed to make a spell lore that it's just too similar to the other one. And you might end up taking the old one anyway. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I think it's too close. Mortesian Bone Shaper. Alright, what do you got for me? 4 up, 6 up. Each time a friendly non-hero Oziark Bone Reaper unit wholly within 12 uses Rally, you can make 3 additional Rally rolls of D6. Not bad. And then Bone Shapler. Oh, a command point. If it's not in combat, pick a friendly Mortar Guard that has been destroyed. And then set up a replacement half. Alright, it just works. And it's still a wizard. Alright, good work there. I dig. You don't get why the one less damage one is bad. It seems fine, not great, but bad. Or not bad. So, we'll do a little role-playing here. I charge your guys, and you have cast Plentiful Bone. And I do 20 damage to them, which is enough to kill all of them. But, or not Plentiful Bone, Bolster Creation. But you cast Bolster Creation on them. So instead of taking 20, they take 19 and still die to a man. And so I'm left wondering, what did it really do? Basically nothing. And that's the normal experience, is, oh, my unit just died in one fell swoop. Oh, wait, hold on, I forgot, Bolster Creation. Still dead. Having played with the new version of Stone Skeleton, that's my lived experience every game. You take enough damage to very overkill you, and then you subtract 1 from it, and you still giga die. It's very rare to play against an army that's doing 1 damage to you during several phases. It's usually in a giant chunk that kills you, right? There are certain armies that do that, you know? Play in every phase, do D3 in the shooting phase, and then D3 in the charge phase from an impact, and then fight you in combat, and then like a Nurgle thing at the end of turn for a D3. Like, some armies manage to do all of that, but it's really rare, and it's just not very much how this game works. The game is mostly about putting a piece of dynamite in a boxing glove and just hitting someone 1 time and they blow the fuck up. Usually. Anyway, Mortek Guard. These guys could use an upgrade, and they're supposed to be like the meat and potatoes of the army. The Guard themselves. Netherite Blade or Spear, anti-cav, rend 1, crit 2 hits. 2 attacks, 3s and 4s, 1. 1, 1, 4, 4, 6. Once per phase, army reaction of friendly Oziark, Bone Reaper, War Machine, Monster, or Mortesian unit within this unit's combat range was targeted by an attack ability. Okay, so it's got to be, you have to be attached via duct tape to the thing you're guarding, and also that thing has to be taking direct melee attack stuff. For the rest of the phase, subtract 1 from the rend characteristic of weapons used for attacks to target that friendly unit. I mean, that's a fine bodyguard effect. What do you give up? What did you used to have? Wrong one. What did you used to have on the Mortek Guard? I remember they were goofy for some reason, but I can't recall why. 1144, Netherite weapons, 2, 3, 4, 1, anti-charge, crit 2 hits. Ignore all modifiers to save rolls for this unit, positive, negative, for the rest of the turn if it did not use a move ability in the same turn. Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Sort of dyssynergist with a lot of stuff you're doing, and you have to not use the move ability, which is the opposite of fun. But it is, you know, it is something. Versus, and it's still what? Anti-cavalry rend 1 versus anti-charge rend 1. So we get a little more specific with their weapon rend. I don't know how good Shields of the Legion is. You already have Lookout, Sir, for ranged stuff. Getting in the melee, like, a way to not get your hero attacked as long as your Mortek Guard are all still alive is to have that hero not purposely get into that combat. Maybe it's impossible. Maybe your opponent rolled a supercharge or something like that. But just stay wholly within 12 of the Mortek Guard, but give it some room in the back there. It's maybe one of the most awkward bodyguard effects. Damn, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like either of them. Maybe that's a me problem, I'm not sure. Your problem with the Shields of the Legion is that other bodyguard abilities like that are passive and also benefit the unit. It just feels like a lot more limited than it should be. I think so too. Do you think they think Mortek Guard was already good enough that they couldn't just make a purely better one? That they had to make it kind of close? I wonder. The rules themselves are a bit meh, but it's cool to try new things. GW is getting very experimental. Yeah, I mean, this whole process is a great sign. With OBR, it seems like they're doing... The entire spell lore is like basically as good as the other one, but, you know, tit for tat, but they're both just generic tit for tat bonuses. And then like these Mortek Guard are basically as good as the other ones, but like another minor tit for tat. I was kind of looking for an upgrade or like a big flavor fun addition, like some cool thing. It doesn't have to be like strong necessarily, but just like some extra cool thing. This one seems very okay, we're gonna subtract 20 points from what we used to have, and so we have 20 points to spend on the new stuff just to, I don't know, this one seems a little obsessed with breaking even, I guess, on everything. I would have finally just given them Rend, even though it's boring. But hey, alright. Mortesian Bone Shaper is looking nice. Man is shaping the bone. Yeah, and they did remove the anti-synergy stuff, which, yeah, you bring up, and that is important. I don't think the end result is, like, great, but at least it doesn't tie its shoelaces together and fall over with the other things that are in the army, right? Read Old Bone Shaper. Oh, is it? Don't tell me it's better. Please. Let's see. Bone Shapler. Big friendly OBR. Roll a die on a 3-up. Ew. If it's damaged, heal 3. If it's not damaged, return slain. Oh, okay. 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 So this, they copied this, and then they scrolled up, and they put that here. And now what does this one do? If you rally, you can make 3 additional rally rolls. And if it's not in combat, you can pick a Mortek Guard and get an entire replacement unit for 1 command point. Yeah, I like the new one a lot better. Yeah, it's a late stream, Bossity. Thanks from the Pacific Coast. Yeah, I had to finish some work before I went live tonight, but technically it was still today when I did. This gets a sprained ankle on the bone scale. Well, what did you get at the end of the day? Potentially, I don't know which ones you're using right now, but potentially a on-demand, exactly where you want it, no stipulations at all. No ranges, no here or nearby, no rolling. This unit gets this bonus guaranteed. I like that. I like +1 attacks. You may or may not end up using this spell lore, but I like +1 attacks. And Mortesian Bone Shapler. This guy's shaped up. Doesn't have to ship out. Much more interesting than the old one. And you get half a unit back. Let's go. If you're using Mortec Guard. And you got a different, but arguably not even better Mortec Guard. Different, but not better. Less dysynergist, though. I'm going to give it a tepid, afraid of being too good or interesting out of 10. Putting it at probably a D+, C-. Grading on a curve, C-. What Dawn of War and Space Marine on Xbox did the 40K in terms of onboarding, getting the setting out there? What do you want AoS big mainstream break to be? Can I have no restraints and ignore reality for one moment? Age of Sigmar, story-driven, nose to the ground CRPG in the realm of Baldur's Gate that fleshes out the world, puts you directly into it, and has stories and lore and interactions. I want Baldur's Gate 3, except Age of Sigmar, in the cities of Sigmar and then going out and interacting. But that would take 10 years and $100 million. So, realistically, the same thing, except on a much smaller scale. I definitely want it to be RPG. I want it to be story-driven and involve real places in the real world with the real lore. I want to introduce people to the setting and force them to flesh out the setting a little more, like Soulbound forced them to. Because whenever it seems AoS is forced to flesh out their setting, it's actually pretty cool. They just only do it when they're forced to. So I would like to push them in front of the train of fleshing out their setting. Could be the next Planescape Torment, I tell you. Waving my cane at a cloud. Anyway, great question. Hey, that's cool. Here's an iPad game. Yeah, Jesus. What about a carbon copy of Dawn of War? You know, the RTS genre that died 15 years ago? What about that one? Raid phone game. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Owlcat Games just did Rouge Trader, but I don't know if they said they're working on any other Warhammer games. Yeah, we'll see. Give me the Rouge Trader game, but AoS? Sure. I don't know anything about the Rogue Trader game. I played the Rogue Trader tabletop game at Gen Con one year, a million years ago, when that thing came out. Raid Sigmar Legends. Match 3 Kart Racer. Rogue Trader is a good game. Do you mean the tabletop one or the one everybody else is talking about, the video game version? Non-40K people even like it. Okay. I thought the setting was quite cool. The mechanics were bad Like it was, the mechanics of the game were pretty bad. But that doesn't matter that much, to be perfectly honest. It went fine, you know. Might be worth a try even if you're not a 40k fan. Tactical RPG, pretty in-depth, nice. I'll look into it. Tabletop 1 was good, Dark Heresy. The Guardsman game was good, Deathwatch was good. Did it just come out, or are you just talking about it now for some reason? It'll be Vermintide 3. Great. It's not that I don't like Vermintide, I just don't care about that type of game usually. Rogue Trader video game is old enough now to sometimes be on pretty decent sale. Okay, so it didn't just come out, you're just bringing it up. Got it. I see. Wrath and Glory. That's the new 40k system. Oh yeah, I'm talking about the one that came out, Jesus, you know, decade or two ago. I don't know the new version, so I can't speak to it much. You'd actually love Vermintide 3 in AoS. I get the impression that a lot of people like Vermintide, and so if what I'm trying to do is make the game itself more popular, then I think Vermintide 3 set in AoS is the right choice. Just because I don't care about it and wouldn't play it. I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it to make the game I like more popular. And so I would make that trade easily. I'm surprised they didn't arrange to have new AoS set Vermintide for the 4E release, Vermin Doom narrative. I don't think they line up video game releases with their own marketing for stuff. They haven't, I don't think they do that quite. Because they sort of shop out their IP to whoever. They just like sell their IP to make one game. And then they collect their money and don't necessarily care what happens with it. Although Space Marine was a big one. They seemed to care about that one. They don't line up stuff, but they should. Yeah, I think so too. They don't line up stuff, but I think they should. Controversial take. It'll be Stormcast Dude, Elf Lady, Dwarf Dude, Good, Skaven, 4th for the characters. We need another lady. It has to be balanced. It has to be even. I'm thinking Big Wizard Lady. Also, Total War Warhammer is big. They used Creative Assembly, Scion concepts for the old world of China. Okay. Fantasy China, yeah. Soulbound Champions of Chaos is the next book to come out. Last Cubicle 7 news said it is coming out eventually. That should be, I might look into that. That's interesting. I liked Soulbound when I played it. I'm not usually a target number kind of guy with dice pools and stuff, but they had some good ideas for just smoothing the game out a little bit for what it was. A big non-talking Saurus brute ally, yes. Big old temple mace. Yeah, I liked the combat zones too. I thought that was a clever way to smooth that over. You're in the zone with this person. You want to go to the next zone. Okay, that's where that guy is. So Rex from Mass Effect. I mean, the one big guy in your party that doesn't say much is definitely a trope under which Rex is excellent for, right? Shepard. Rex was great, dude. Rex plus Garrus party. It was a party no matter what time of day. It was a great time. Anyway, that's the news. 1 hour and 7 minutes. Super short stream. Technically did it. It's a pity that OBR wasn't more exciting, but they did get some cool stuff. Bone Shaper, big upgrade. Drill Master's potential choice. Good direction and good try. Go more. Harder. Arguably, have a little more creative freedom. Don't be afraid to finger paint a little bit with this stuff. You can always tone it down. Go farther, do more. Tomorrow is Corn. And depending on when Vince streams, I'll either do an actual stream or just another new stream. And then Thursday, probably big stream. Either playing Dude, the Dark Ages, or Me-Side, or just walking for 3 hours. And making a Pathfinder 2 character. Also, the party being bound by the soul. I like that thing too. Yeah, we'll talk about Soulbound next time and how much I liked it. I need to revisit some of it. The best part of Soulbound, though, even though I rather like some of their ideas, was again the fact that they forced Games Workshop to flesh out more of the setting. And every time they're forced to do that, it is actually quite cool. And I get to use it in my next video. Anyway, thanks for watching. I release you before midnight. You're all free now. See you tomorrow before or after Vince, one of the two. Have a good night.